And that'll come up into our second segment here, folks, with Real Clear Politics reporter Philip Wegmann. If you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, please do so, folks. It does support the channel. Philip Wegmann brings up a phenomenal question, actually the other day, regarding TikTok. And this is something that's been going on with this platform because there's been these stories that are coming out about TikTok and our national security, about them tracking, pulling Americans' data, giving that intelligence to the Chinese. And so he does bring this up with Karine Jean-Pierre, but I want to do a little bit of backstory because all he does is say the Forbes article, and we should actually know what the Forbes article is saying before he goes into that question with Karine Jean-Pierre. It says, a China-based team of TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, plan to use the TikTok app to monitor the personal location of some specific American citizens, according to materials reviewed by Forbes. The team behind the monitoring project, ByteDance's Internal Audit and Risk Control Department, is led by Beijing-based executive Song Yi, who reports to ByteDance's co-founder and CEO, Rubio Liang. The team primarily conducts investigations into potential misconduct by current and former ByteDance employees, but in at least 2 cases, the internal audit team also planned to collect TikTok's data about the location of a U.S. citizen who had never had an employment relationship with the company, the materials show. It is unclear from the materials whether data about these Americans was actually collected. However, the plan was for a Beijing-based ByteDance team to obtain location data from U.S. users' devices. Oh, there's more. TikTok spokesperson said that the TikTok collects approximate location information based on users' IP addresses to, among other things, help show relevant content and ads to users, comply with applicable laws, and detect and prevent fraud and inauthentic behavior. That's a bunch of smoke, folks. We'll continue. That's not the full truth. But the material reviewed by Forbes indicates that ByteDance's internal audit team was planning to use this location information to surveil individual American citizens, not to target ads or any of these purposes of which were just stated. Forbes is not disclosing the nature and purpose of the planned surveillance referenced in the materials in order to protect their sources. TikTok and ByteDance did not answer questions about whether internal audit has specifically targeted any members of the U.S. government, activists, public figures, or journalists. TikTok is reportedly close to signing a contract with the Treasury Department's Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, which evaluates the national security risks proposed by companies of foreign ownership and has been investigating whether the company's Chinese ownership could enable the Chinese government, in actuality the military, to access personal information about U.S. TikTok users. This could be a potential massive national security breach of tracking location of our government officials, folks. And Phil Wegmann, this went so unnoticed by so many people. I know I kind of brag about him a lot here on the show. Of course, there are the Peter Duceys out there, the Jackie Henricks, but there's also the Philip Wegmanns, you guys. This guy not only writes extremely well on Real Clear Politics website, but just listen to his questions. He actually hones in on important issues that not everybody else is looking at that time. Everybody's so zoned in on the camel where there's a bunch of gnats everywhere else, or rather, if you want to go biblical, they're zooming in on the gnats when there's a giant camel standing right in front of them. That camel is TikTok or national security and what's going on with that, and he questions them so perfectly on it, folks. Let's go ahead and roll it. Again, this is Philip Wegmann from Real Clear Politics.
One last one. Go ahead, Phil.
Thank you. There's reporting out of Forbes that TikTok's China-based parent company, ByteDance, plan to use the TikTok app to track the physical location of specific Americans. My question is, does the administration still believe that it's safe for Americans to use TikTok? And does the White House believe that TikTok presents a security threat to upcoming elections, given that they are partnering with organizations like the Federal Voting Assistance Program to provide information about elections?
So I'll say this. Haven't seen those reportings, but I'll say this more broadly, that the president is concerned about the power large social media platforms have over our everyday lives, and has long argued that tech platforms must be held accountable for the harms that they cause. And so the president has been very consistent on that. And the president has long been a supporter of fundamental reforms to achieve that goal, including reforming Section 230. As you've heard us say many times, his stance on Section 230 is not new, and it's something he made clear on the campaign trail as one. This continues to be his position on that specific story. I can't comment from here. here. And so I'll leave it there as how he sees social media more broadly.
Phil does do a follow-up here, but if she's going to read from the binder, can she at least read and answer a question that was actually asked? None of that was about Section 230. None of that was about publishing and having places like YouTube, Twitter actually be held accountable for what's being published on the platform. Nobody's talking about that. The question was about the national security implications of TikTok taking U.S. citizens' data and giving it to the Chinese government, predominantly their military as well, tracking government officials and utilizing that against us, as well as having election implications with that. Coming from a Democrat Party that was just so upset about Republicans questioning the integrity of the election, and now when you actually have real reporters talking about the possibility of the integrity of the election that's coming up being compromised by a platform that's in partnership with the Chinese government, potentially has a partnership with the Chinese government, and is going to be giving our data out there. You think this is something you'd want the president to know about and actually go on? And I have a feeling they do know about this, you guys, because TikTok has been on the radar for quite some time. And like Philip Wegmann said, this is not the only time that TikTok's been brought up and kind of been going out there in terms of users' data and where it's going. Let's continue with the follow-up here.
I understand that there are these concerns about big tech and social media, but the TikTok and national security implications seem to be unique. And this isn't the first time that TikTok's ties to China have been scrutinized. I know the administration has made use of TikTok several times over the course of the last 2 years. Will the president and the White House continue to make use of this platform, given that there are serious red flags?
So again, let me talk to the National Security Council team on that specific report that you are laying out at this time, and then we'll respond.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.
She says that we'll respond, but if you recall, I want to say it was a week ago, Philip Wegmann asked her a question, and she said something very similar, like, oh, well, let me go find out and I'll get back to you. A week goes by, and I want to say it was about Japan or something like that. And he gives her the same exact question, and he goes, yeah, you never got back to me. And she goes, oh, you're right, I didn't. I mean, that's literally your job, right? To answer their questions, and she can't even do it, of which she didn't even have to answer the question, right? She just had to go ask somebody else for the question. She can't even do it. So she can't answer questions on the podium. She can't answer questions that she couldn't answer then, having to go get somebody else to bring it back to somebody else to give them the question. She can't do anything. She's literally the worst press secretary we've ever seen. I'm not always just trying to rip her, but for the love of God, give me a reason not to rip you, lady. Just answer the questions. That's all we're asking here on the Bald Brad Show. That's all we're asking. I'm not irate. I'm not pissed. If anything, I just think it's freaking hilarious. She's getting paid 6 figures to do this job. I mean, how many of you could say that you get paid 6 figures literally not to do the job that you were asked to do? I mean, it's not hell. I can go stand on that podium and look like an idiot all day and not answer anybody's question and spin things left and right. That's not hard. That's literally not hard. Just give me any question. I can just spin it. Give me any question. You could do it. It's not hard to sit there and dodge questions or read out of a binder of prepared answers. Joe Biden does it, and we all know he's not there. He's given a card that practically tells him how to breathe. He can answer questions. He fumbles through it, slurs his words a lot, okay, fights with his teleprompter, but he gets through it, and he gets paid a lot of money to do it, and he sucks at his job. So there's a common theme here with this White House. If you suck at your job, make sure you apply to the Biden administration, because you'd be sure to get hired. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.